Welcome back to another edition of Developing Designers. Our guest today is Chase Moser, recent grad, about 3 years out of school, architect in training. We're going to be talking to him about jumping into the fire, learning by doing, and other interesting questions. Welcome back. Our guest today is Chase, an up-and-coming architect in training. Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good. I'm doing great. Looking forward to our interview.
Me too.
Yeah. So how many years out of school are you?
Got master's from NDSU in 22. So
22. Okay.
3.5 years.
Okay. Quick background. Where did you grow up?
Grew up in Minot, North Dakota.
Minot. Okay. What led you into architecture?
I think I was just always a creative kid, and I found an outlet with architecture and kind of stuck with it. So
Legos, Lincoln Logs, or Erector set?
Legos, Minecraft,
Yep.
Yeah, I had an Erector set. I had it all. Yeah.
Okay. Did anyone say, hey, you should be an architect?
I think like when you have a good drawing or something like that, someone will throw that out. Nothing sticks out, but I'm sure,
Yeah.
architecture popped up somewhere.
Sure. What led you to NDSU?
Their architecture program.
Okay.
I spent a couple years at Minot State in a general studies thing and found NDSU's architecture program and went for it.
What stood out with you in school that you particularly liked or didn't like in the architecture? Like, did you already have a bent towards a project type or?
I wouldn't say project type. I loved the design. I loved solving problems with, architecture, and I think I always found myself more the practical type than the outlandish architecture style. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you an all-nighter person or were you self-disciplined with time management?
I was full-blown nocturnal during architecture school.
Okay. So night person or morning person?
Night.
Night person.
Yep.
And the deadlines drove you?
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not your own self-discipline.
I tried not to be too much of a procrastinator, but it sometimes came upon me a little bit.
Definitely fit the majority of architects in their career. Yeah. When did you hear about EAPC or working for a professional firm?
I heard about EAPC through a few classmates actually who have, family in the company as well. But my first real impression of EAPC was through Noah Fisher at a career fair at NDSU. It was actually a snowstorm.
Oh, really?
So our career fair got canceled. We rallied the troops, I guess, and had our advisors schedule a makeshift career fair at Renaissance Hall.
Oh.
And Noah showed up, and thankfully did, because that led me to EAPC.
So how did you make that connection? Did you approach him personally, or?
He had a booth. He was just standing there, and I kind of walked up, introduced myself, and the rest is history.
It is. It is true. Yeah. Still in the past. Were there a few others that came on board with you about the same time, or?
Yeah, I think, like 5 or so classmates between Hunter, Emily, Jolene at the time, Emma, Brennan.
Okay.
I might be.
I didn't realize all those were your classmates.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same class at NDSU.
All right. Well, I know Hunter. Hunter's here in our Fargo office as well. What was that transition like of going from NDSU to here? You've been in, 2 or 3 years now.
Right.
Yeah. So that initial shock, let's talk about that. Or was it what you expected?
To entering like the professional realm, you mean? I mean, it's everything. It's like drinking from a fire hose right here. Everything is brand new. School is so much different than real practice, There's no budgets in school. There's no like fixed hard deadline for construction. It's just, can you get your project done by, your presentation date? So when entering the real world, it's a lot of learning procedure, learning, standards and things like that. So I would say, the first large majority of entering the workforce, you're not really in the architecture world, you're in the learning a new job world. Yeah. If that makes sense.
Yep. All right. So part of the podcast is eventually you're thrown into the fire.
Yeah.
And I think we know a couple projects that we're going to be talking about, but you're just sitting there kind of doing normal, red lines, picking up red lines for a project. And the office manager, his name is Chris, came up to you and said,
He came up to me and said, it was actually a Teams message. He goes, "Hey, you want to get a beer?" And I look at
You're
I'm like, it's 2:00 on a Tuesday.
I'm getting fired.
Yeah, just full blown panic kind of set in. Yeah, sure. Message him back and panicking the entire way. He goes, "Where do you live?" I tell him. He picks a spot nearby. So I meet him. Like I said, panicking the entire way.
Right.
He's sitting at the bar waiting for me when I get there.
Dude.
I'm kind of shaking, thinking this is my last day. I don't know what I did wrong. I can't remember, but clearly I did something. So I show up nervous as heck. He's sitting there at the bar waiting for me. And he goes, "You're probably wondering why you're here." And I go, "I sure am wondering why I'm here."
Yeah.
And he knew what he was doing the entire time.
Oh,
he was
man.
stringing me along.
Yeah.
So he knew how it looked. But he finally broke it to me that you're not in trouble. You didn't do anything wrong. He came to me with an opportunity, I guess, an opportunity I didn't think I was prepared for, but
Sure.
was a good experience in the long run. He asked if I could sort of fill in as a construction manager of sorts,
Okay.
this young architect in training straight out of school,
Sure.
doesn't know the first thing about construction. So
Sure.
I was a little hesitant given that opportunity, but in a position like mine,
So you said, okay.
basically, yeah. I was like, there was nobody else. I didn't say that, but that's what I was thinking. So,
Okay.
yeah, no,
Okay. So what's the project type?
it's like a small restaurant.
Okay. And mid project, I suppose, or
Yep, project
must
was
have been replacing
it was a new construction.
Okay.
It was already a little bit into construction by the time I joined the force, but
Sure. Okay. So getting thrown into it. What was that first meeting like?
well, a lot of it was Chris having to explain to me what happens in construction management,
Yeah.
not having any sort of training in that. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of explaining very like I was a 3-year-old what's going to happen and what I'm going to be responsible for and all the things I'll be doing. So that
Yeah.
was the first bit of that.
Yeah. Typically, our architects are doing construction administration. So a lot of the paperwork, shop drawings, and things like that. Construction management, our company also was managing the subcontractors and whatnot. Yeah.
Right.
So how many subs did we have on that project roughly?
We
If you
had,
had to guess.
if I was to guess, probably even the smaller, maybe 8 to 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was the project going okay, or was it just, replacing a person that had?
Yeah, I was basically filling in when we had a
Okay.
construction manager leave.
Sure.
And by that point, like I said, construction was just getting started, so things were kind of going as per usual.
Yeah.
Me not having any background in it, I have no way of telling like,
Sure.
oh, this is going really well.
This is normal. This is
going
not
well.
normal. Yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't have a great bearing on that, but things went well for the most part given the circumstance.
Yeah. My first experience as CM, it was my own project and I had construction management and there was nothing but trouble. And I really was thrown by that. That is construction management.
Right.
So talk about that a little bit. 'Cause
Well-
in architecture, it's ideal. Everything's ideal. Construction management is everything goes wrong. It doesn't, but solving the
Right.
problem. So let's talk about that a little
I
bit.
understand what you mean completely. I learned very quickly that things rarely go to plan, and if they do, it's a treat. So
Yeah.
I learned that, you have to do with it what you can and make things work whenever possible.
Yeah. So talk about some of the things that typically go wrong. Things don't show up in time.
Correct.
Wasn't ordered.
Delays on something coming in, or, maybe something was fabricated incorrectly, things like that. And you just have to make do with what you can.
Yeah. So suddenly it feels like the youngest guy on the team being the bad guy. Were there some things that you had to set people straight?
Yeah.
Describe sort of, more of that, I guess.
I found it pretty difficult coming in, this kid straight out of college, doesn't even have a construction management degree, and I'm the one kind of directing contractors around, giving them information and things like that. It was kind of difficult navigating that given, you feel they have no respect for you, basically, that type of thing. It's like, why should I listen to this kid?
Did you see that? Did you see that in your face?
I felt that. I don't know how much of it was me in my own head about it and how much of it might have been actually that situation.
Probably
But
both.
for the most part, I think the contractors were really great. They understood my situation and our situation as a whole, and they were great to work with. So
Yeah.
I had a good first experience.
Yeah. One of the best that I feel is taking that learning approach that, hey, you do this more than I do. I'm here to learn as well. Tell me what the issue is and how you feel to fix it. I mean, would you agree with that? Or
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I found myself a lot of the times, working with the contractors as opposed to directing the contractors.
Yeah.
And that was a great way of learning. It was a great way of getting them the information they needed. So,
Sure.
yeah.
So overall, positive.
Overall, very positive.
Yeah.
I
Shaking
couldn't
in your
recommend
boots,
it enough.
but-
Should
Yeah.
someone in my position get that opportunity?
Yeah. So what do you think generally about being thrown into the fire as a learning?
It was at the time super intimidating, but extremely beneficial in the long run. There's no better way to learn than actually doing. And as I mentioned before, someone in my position, a young architect in training, you're not on the site all that often. You don't get that firsthand experience. So
Yeah.
getting thrown into the fire like that, while intimidating at first, is a great experience.
Yeah. Typically there's a shoulder to shoulder and then an over the shoulder. So you'd be doing it, say, with Chris, and then maybe you doing little bit, but then, your senior would be kind of checking in on you and things like that. And you went directly to sort of like over the shoulder, or here you're on your own. So now you have to use your mind and,
Yeah.
navigate problem solving and all that.
Right. It seems I had a little bit of everything in my role on that project. I had some time spent shadowing, kind of just observing and seeing how things were done. I had time being the only one out there and just, checking in when I needed something. So I kind of ran that full spectrum of responsibility, if you will.
Sure. Yeah, I had a 3-year internship. It was high stress and into the fire. I'd say it is one of the best ways to learn, but one of the most stressful ways. So, yeah, I think you had a little bit of both, but
Yeah.
but definitely very supportive and encouraging and all that. That was how many years after school?
Gosh, I think that was just a year after school.
Yeah, I was going to say that's almost 2 years ago, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, zip ahead a little bit. What was it about last year? I think you and I had a project. Let's talk about that, because that to me is what I would consider like your pilot project, where we're putting you out front and,
Yeah, no, I'd
pushing you
agree.
from behind.
I
Yes.
agree for sure. I think that's one of my first projects where I'm kind of taking on more responsibility, almost more of a project manager role, and have a great teacher to kind of guide me along. So
Oh, stop it. So let's talk about the project tape. What,
it's a small office building for a company just outside of Fargo.
okay. And what was it? About how many square feet?
5,000.
5,000. Yeah. So we met with the owner, right? You designed it for the most part.
Yep.
Yeah. And then you did a lot of the drawings. I want you to talk about it.
Yeah, no.
You go ahead.
For sure.
I mean, talk about this thing.
No, I loved how much freedom you gave me. It helped me a lot. Allowed me to kind of share what I know, show what I know. So, did a lot of the design work, getting some tips from you, tweaking things along the way, finally coming up with something that we thought was a good layout, good program. Bring it to the owner. They come to like that stuff. So, it goes through to construction documents. I kind of served a wide gamut of roles. I did a lot of the design work, but I did a lot of the drafting as well. So I kind of have a hand in this project the whole way through.
Yeah.
It's been really
Codes.
nice
Yeah.
handling a lot of the construction administration.
Yes. All right. So typical construction, there's some things that happen every project.
Always.
So nothing out of the ordinary, but some things are going wrong. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Well,
Now you've had one under your belt on the CM side, or the sort of the
Right.
construction side.
right. I mean, having experience with problems arising and how do you fix that? It's just, every project's different. So you kind of have to approach things differently, but it's kind of a case of, the sky's not falling. This happens all the time. And I had, like I said, a great mentor and kind of explaining that to me, that this isn't the end of the world. This happens all the time. We fix this, we move on. So it's been a case of that. It's been good experiences.
Yeah. One of the hard things, I think, in any profession is having the time to explain why we do what we do. And I swear it was 5 years before I could, like, what's next? What's our next step? What's our next step? You know, to go, yeah, I know what's next.
Yeah.
And I would assume you're in the same boat.
Same exact.
Yeah. What do I do now? What is it codes? Is it, you know? But in my process, and I want to bring this back to you, knowing why we do what we do is what it's like. It's such an aha moment, I think, it's like, if you know why we're doing it, then I think it's easier to, like, what's next? Oh yeah, this is what we do because of this, you know.
Yeah.
Kind of
I mean, from the beginning, it was always, I don't even know what I don't know, you know, when you don't have that experience. So, you know, getting to know, like, what it is that needs to be done is a huge step. That's a lot of learning right there. And then finally knowing how to do those things, that's another. And that's something I'm working on every day.
Yeah.
You know, you learn every day. So
yeah,
it's not what you know, it's who you know. And I know Phil Stalls.
This was not rehearsed.
He told me to say
scripted.
that.
There's no payment. There's no sponsorship. Hit like and subscribe. Okay. One of my passions is teaching, so I appreciate that. But I have a very vivid memory of my internship and those struggles, and it's like, how can we apply that and pay it forward? So I do appreciate that. Yeah, let's zip forward. What's the project type that you're working on right now?
I'm working on a long-term care facility, taking up most of my time right now.
All right.
Yeah.
What fills your day? What are you working on?
Doing a lot of design iterations lately, actually. It's an existing building, so there's a lot of constraints and challenges that come with it. So we have to be creative and come up with ways to get the owner what they want and come up with a successful project.
So I understand the owner's been requesting changes to a plan that you've already kind of moved forward with. So you're trying to accommodate that? Talk about that a little bit more.
Correct. Yeah. Okay. You come up with a solution that you like, that you think the owner will like, and, you know, it seems that they would have, and then all of a sudden they might change their mind, or they have a new need that they express. So it's having to adapt and, you know, get the owner what they want at the end of the day.
A year ago, there'd be a ton of questions, and I know you're working with another architect, so I know you're back and forth with them. I don't see as many questions, so obviously you are progressing, you know, and kudos to you and all that. How do you feel like your career path's going? It's not internship, but your path to architecture license. Right. How's that going?
Well, I still feel like I know nothing. I probably feel that way until I retire.
54 and still do.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So
and my seniors told me that too as well.
Yep.
So yeah.
Right. But no, it's constantly learning every day. I'm vastly more comfortable with where I'm at than even just a year prior. So you know, it's only going to continue to grow my knowledge and my comfortability with the profession.
Yeah. Where are you at with your licensure?
I got 3 tests down out of 6.
Okay. Out of 6. Okay.
Hours are done. We just got to get those last 3 tests done.
Okay. I understand that there's maybe an unspoken competition here going on with another individual.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. Maybe it's me egging both of you on to beat each other out just because I like giving you both trouble.
Yeah, I think you're trying to wedge us apart, I think is what's happening.
Oh, maybe. Drive a wedge in between you. Hunter, of course, he's a classmate of yours and a really good friend. And both working on those tests. How is that studying and testing going in addition to your life, marriage? I mean, everything. I mean, you're in that age where so much is happening right now in your life.
Right. Well, we were in a really good groove there. I was studying very regularly, taking those tests, getting them taken quickly. And then life kind of, as it always does, kind of got in the way a little bit.
Always gets in the way.
I had got married, bought a house, had a lot of things going on lately. Yep. So I have to focus on jumping back in, try to, you know, get my mind back on that studying path so we can achieve licensure.
Sure. Yeah, I think obviously having that first project and then, that licensure, I mean, always just builds your confidence and, looking forward to the next one where, we're even taking a step even further back and all that. Advice that you would have for recent grads or even college students? What are some of your thoughts so far?
My advice to a recent grad would be take every opportunity that comes your way. You're never going to regret taking on some responsibility.
Exactly.
It's kind of nice being in a position where you might not have the highest expectations. You're there to learn. You're very new to the profession. You can only go up.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Asking questions. Yes.
Absolutely.
More
I feel
or
like
less.
I'm constantly asking questions.
Yeah.
I ask all the questions.
Yeah. Do you feel stupid when you do it?
Every time.
Yeah. And I did too. And everybody feels stupid asking questions, but we know you don't know. So,
Right. That was kind of a hurdle too, is thinking that you're bothering somebody when you ask them a question. And I've had many architects, you included, tell me, no, don't ever feel bad for asking questions. That's how you learn. We know you know nothing.
We know you know nothing.
Yeah.
This is not an elephant in the room.
Absolutely.
It's tattooed on your face,
Yeah. So that was a hurdle to overcome.
Yeah. We were there. We know. It's like, yeah. Oh, man. Well, I appreciate you coming in. This always leads to more questions. And so we hope to have you back soon because we have other areas to dive in and check in with you, see how that's going and all that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Any final thoughts for you?
No, I'll have Cubby's bill in the mail for him.
All right. Cubbies are amazing videographer. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Good to see you guys and looking forward to our next podcast.
Thanks, Phil.
Thanks, Chase.